Alarm, it's time for the FIFA World Cup villains. So where do you start? Well, as good a place as any is the 1966 FIFA World Cup in England. When Brazil touched down on English soil, you see, they'd won the two previous World Cups. Something clearly had to be done to stop them, and their Group 3 rivals Portugal had just the thing in mind. Stop Pelé by fair means or foul. It was decidedly more foul than fair, as the world's best player was kicked out of the tournament, and with him, Brazil. Particular praise in the hatchet job went to Portugal's Moraes. Only following orders, but no doubt about it, a World Cup villain. Brazil, though, haven't always been the ones at the sharp end. In 1970, they'd charmed the world with their football, but 4 years later, their successors sullied the country's reputation with some X-rated defending. They weren't alone that World Cup, but the game against Holland in particular stands out for the wrong reasons. When defender and captain Pereira was sent off for that tackle, one that Bruce Lee would have been proud of, his actions towards both the decision and the Dutch fans were not quite in keeping with the principles of fair play. History records, fortunately, that Holland won the game. Pereira wasn't the first to take his time leaving a football field. In '66, Antonio Ratin talked himself into a sending off, then hung around for a 10-minute chat with the referee and anybody else who cared to listen. The walk of shame seemed endless, and to think he walked on the Royals' red carpet too. Physical encounters have featured largely in FIFA World Cup history. The Battle of Bordeaux in '38 between Brazil and Czechoslovakia ended with 3 sent off and Czech goalkeeper František Planička playing through the game with a broken arm. In 1954, the Brazilians were at it again in the Battle of Bern. A full-blooded affair with Hungary saw a player from each side sent off for fighting. Rumour has it that at one point a football match broke out which Hungary won 4-2. It would be remiss of us not to include Argentina in this list of bad boys. When they took to the field for the final of the 1990 FIFA World Cup, they did so without the suspended Caniggia, which severely hampered their chances of beating Germany. So they opted for negative tactics based on the policy of no pasarán, thou shalt not pass. Pedro Monzon, a second-half substitute, did his bit dutifully and became the first player to be red-carded in the FIFA World Cup final. And he was followed by Gustavo Dazzotti, who became the second. Down to 9 men, the only thankful thing for neutrals was that Germany won the match, fittingly due to a penalty. The Argentinians somehow felt hard done by. Tears were their only consolation, but for Maradona, the decline had only just begun.
The player Diego Maradona of the Argentinian national team has therefore violated the provisions of the doping control regulations in the match Argentina-Nigeria.
15 months. That's how long Maradona got after testing positive at USA 94 for banned substances contained in an energy drink. Maradona, who'd already treated us to a flashback of his former self during the tournament, was finished in FIFA World Cup terms. Every picture tells a story. This was the abiding one of USA 94. Not the only villain of USA 94 though. Let's not forget Mauro Tassotti, whose elbow made contact with Luis Enrique's face to bloody effect. There was no punishment at the time, but Tassotti was later banned for 8 games and never played for Italy again. Feigning injury. Now there's something which has crept in steadily down the years. You know, the ones, the divers, the ones who look as if they've been shot by an AK-47, or even worse, a Roberto Carlos free kick. Take Croatia's Slaven Village. Now, Bilic has always been able to look after himself, but when he and Laurent Blanc had a minor tangle during the semi-final of France '98, down he went and off went the Frenchman. Blanc's expulsion meant he missed the final. And what about Rivaldo's theatrics when one of those really hard balls hit him during the 2002 tournament? Come on, son, you're better than that. Now, spitting isn't good, so when Frank Rijkaard spat on Rudi Völler at Italia '90, it didn't make for good viewing. Holland-Germany encounters are notoriously tense affairs, but this one tipped over the edge. An incident later involving Völler lit the fuse once more, and again Rijkaard was first on the scene. After a fracas, both players were sent off. Cue Rijkaard, who spat at Völler again. It left a bad taste in the mouth. Our final villain of the piece is Harald Schumacher. Germany-France in the semi-final in '82, and the score stood at 1-1 when Schumacher flattened Patrick Battiston so badly that the Frenchman was knocked out. Now, Schumacher has always claimed that he thought Battiston was going to lob the ball over his head, and the fact that the referee didn't give a free kick backs up his claim. Battiston, though, was taken to hospital concussed, and even Schumacher's mother was heard to exclaim, "It was dreadful, Harold." Now comes the irony. Not only did Germany go on to win the game courtesy of a Schumacher penalty save, but Battiston later forgave him and even invited him to his wedding. Proof that fair play can survive even in the most difficult circumstances. It's what you've been waiting for, the clowns of the FIFA World Cup. You see, even on the world's greatest sporting stage, sometimes things just don't go to plan. Mexico versus West Germany, 1978. Not only is the free kick a disaster, but Germany's Rummenigge runs the length of the pitch unchallenged to slot home goal number 3 in a 6-0 drubbing. In '86, Uruguay's Alves was on the verge of a breakdown at the prospect of facing Scotland's set-piece specialists. But even some of the most prolific strikers to grace the FIFA World Cup finals have suffered a bout of stage fright. For every great goal scored at the tournament, there's 101 great misses to accompany it. And here's some of the finest that we guarantee involve no camera trickery.
In the history of the World Cup, there have been some outstanding saves. Here we take a look at the greatest of all time.
Got a bad one. Eusebio, a beautiful shot. Oh, that's great. What a magnificent save.
Making the save at that particular time, I felt that the lads must have had a bit of a lift, because we felt that being 0-0 was slim with the chance, because it was an end-to-end game. Albie said, try and get over and bank, so you don't give any silly corners away.
It's a lonely old life. Especially when they say you're a bit different from the rest.